Have you ever stood before a challenge, so big it felt like a mountain? A shadow, so vast, it seemed to swallow all the light. We all have moments like that. Moments where we feel small, fragile, and completely outnumbered. You might be feeling that way right now, in your career, in your personal life, or even in your journey learning this language. You look at the goal, and it feels like an impossible distance to cross. On the surface, it seems like a simple story. The big will always defeat the small. But I want to tell you a different story today. A story about a small island in the Pacific. An island that teaches us a profound lesson about strength. Imagine looking out across a wide, churning sea. The water is a deep, restless blue, and the wind carries a whisper of tension. On one side, a giant. A global power with immense resources and a population of over 1 billion people. On the other, a small mountainous island, home to just 23 million. For decades, the world has held its breath, watching this delicate balance. This is the story of China and Taiwan. Many people see it as a classic David and Goliath story, a tale of the weak versus the strong. They see the giant's shadow and assume the island's fate is already decided. But when you look closer, when you really try to get the full picture, you realize that the most important things are often invisible. The island Taiwan has a kind of shield, not a shield of steel or magic, but something far more intricate. It's a defense built not just on weapons, but on ideas, on connections, and on the very fabric of our modern world. It's a story that shows us that power isn't just about size or numbers. Sometimes the most powerful force in the world is a quiet, steady resolve. It's the kind of strength that doesn't shout, but endures. It's the courage to build something beautiful and unique, even when a storm is gathering on the horizon. Think about your own life. What are your invisible shields? What are the quiet strengths you possess that others might not see? Often we underestimate ourselves because we are only looking at the surface. We see our own size compared to the challenge, and we forget about the depth of our spirit, the power of our connections, and the value of what we have built. This is more than just a political story, it's a human one. It's about identity and the courage to define who you are for yourself. It's about understanding that true power isn't the ability to dominate, but the ability to create, to connect, and to contribute something the world cannot live without. The story of this island is a reminder that even when you feel small, you can be essential. So, as we begin this journey together, I want you to hold on to that thought. The feeling of being outnumbered is just that. A feeling. It's not the truth. The truth is often hidden, waiting for us to look deeper. The island's first layer of defense is something you probably use every single day, something that connects all of us in a fragile digital web. It's a fortress made not of stone, but of something far more valuable. Have you ever built something with great care? A project, a friendship, a skill. You pour your time and energy into it, making every detail perfect. It becomes a part of you. But what if that beautiful thing you created was also incredibly fragile? What if its very delicacy was the source of its strength? This is a paradox we all face in life. Our greatest strengths are often intertwined with our greatest vulnerabilities. We build connections that can be broken. We chase dreams that can be shattered. And yet we continue to build. Because we know that these fragile, beautiful things are what give our lives meaning. This brings us back to our island and its first invisible shield. It's a fortress, but not one you can see. It is a fortress made of porcelain. Imagine the world's technology, your phone, your computer, your car, the servers that power the internet as a single giant body. For this body to function, it needs a heart, something that pumps life and intelligence through its veins. That heart is a tiny, incredibly complex piece of technology called a semiconductor or a microchip. And the world's most advanced microchips are made in one place. Taiwan produces over 60% of the world's semiconductors and over 90% of the most advanced ones. This isn't just a business, it's the backbone of the global economy. This is Taiwan's porcelain fortress. It is unbelievably valuable and advanced, a masterpiece of human ingenuity. But like fine porcelain, it is also fragile. An invasion of Taiwan would shatter this fortress. The intricate factories would be destroyed, the supply chains would collapse, and the global economy would be thrown into chaos. It would be like a worldwide heart attack. Industries everywhere would grind to a halt. The very things that power our modern lives would vanish. This is a powerful deterrent. It's a concept some call the Silicon Shield. China as a global economic power is deeply connected to this system. To break the shield would be to pull the plug on its own economic ambitions, sending shockwaves through its own industries. It's a classic example of a double-edged sword. Attacking your most critical supplier is like setting fire to the boat you are also sailing in. It creates a situation of mutual dependence. Everyone needs the heart to keep beating. This teaches us a powerful lesson about our own lives. We often think of strength as independence, as being able to stand alone. But true strength, the most resilient kind, often comes from interdependence. It comes from making yourself essential, from building connections that are mutually beneficial. Think about it. In your career, in your relationships, how can you become the heart of the matter? How can you contribute something so valuable that others not only respect you, but recognize that your success is tied to their own? It's not about manipulation. It's about genuine contribution. It's about building bridges, not walls, but an economic shield. However powerful might not be enough. What happens when emotions and history overwhelm logic? Fortunately, our island has another layer of defense. This one was not built by human hands, but by the patient, powerful forces of nature itself. Think about a time you walked in nature. The feeling of a tall mountain beside you, or the sound of a powerful ocean in front of you. There is a deep wisdom in the land. Nature can be a source of peace, but it can also be a formidable protector. Sometimes, the very obstacles in our path, the steep hills we must climb, the rough waters we must cross, are not there to stop us, but to shield us. They teach us resilience, they test our determination, and ultimately they protect us in ways we might not understand at first. The island of Taiwan knows this lesson well. It is written into its very geography. Beyond the economic shield of silicon, the island is protected by its guardian mountains and a treacherous sea. Let's return to that stretch of water separating Taiwan from the mainland. This is the Taiwan Strait. It looks small on a map, but it is one of the most difficult bodies of water to cross. The seas are notoriously rough, with strong currents and unpredictable weather, especially during typhoon season, which lasts for months. For an invading force, this is more than an inconvenience. It's a logistical nightmare. The window of opportunity for a large-scale sea invasion is incredibly narrow, only a few months out of the year. It's nature's first line of defense, a moat of churning water that says, think twice before you cross. But the real challenge begins if an army ever reaches the shore. It's one thing to talk about an invasion, but it's quite another to understand the lay of the land. Taiwan is not a flat, open field. It is a fortress of stone. Over 2/3 of the island is covered by the Central Mountain Range, a rugged spine of steep, densely forested mountains that runs down its center. These are the Guardian Mountains. They make moving a large modern army across the island almost impossible. The vast majority of Taiwan's population lives on a flat plain on the western coast. This means any invading force would be funneled into a few predictable landing zones, beaches that are heavily fortified and prepared. It's a defender's dream. The geography transforms the island into a natural trap. It's a tough nut to crack, designed by geology itself to resist invaders. For centuries, these mountains have shaped the island's culture and protected its people. And here lies another beautiful lesson for us. We all have mountains in our lives. We have parts of our personality, our history, or our circumstances that we see as difficult or challenging. We might think, if only this wasn't in my way. But what if that obstacle is actually your greatest strength? What if your cautious nature born from past hurts is actually a powerful form of wisdom? What if your long, difficult journey to learn a skill has given you a depth of understanding that others lack? It is easier said than done, but we must learn to see our challenges not as barriers, but as our own guardian mountains. They have shaped us, hardened us, and given us a unique terrain on which to stand our ground. But even with a silicon shield and a mountain fortress, the final most powerful defense of all is not made of chips or stone. It's something invisible, yet unbreakable. What is the one thing in your life that no one can ever take from you? They can take your job, your money, your possessions, but there is a space inside you, a core of who you are, that remains untouched. It is your will, your spirit, your sense of self. It is the belief in who you are and what you stand for. At the end of the day, this is the most powerful force on earth. It is the energy that has fueled every great movement, every impossible victory, and every story of human resilience. This is the final and most important shield for our island. It's not the economy, and it's not the geography. It's the unbreakable will of the Taiwanese people. For decades, the people of Taiwan have built more than just a successful economy. They have built a vibrant, thriving democracy. They have forged a unique identity, a culture that blends ancient traditions with a modern, progressive outlook. This isn't just a place on a map, it's a home, and the defense of one's home is one of the most powerful motivators a human can have. To an outsider, it might look like a political issue, but to the people who live there, the student in Taipei studying for her exams, the farmer in the south tending to his fields, the artist creating a new work, it is personal. It is about their future, their freedom, and their right to choose their own path. This shared sense of belonging is a defense that cannot be easily broken. This resolve is not just a feeling, it's put into practice. The society is prepared. They have a well-trained military. But more than that, they have a civilian population that understands what is at stake. They stand their ground, not with aggression, but with a quiet, firm determination. Come what may, they will not give up their way of life. This psychological strength is perhaps the greatest deterrent of all. It sends a clear message: an invasion would not just be a fight against an army, it would be a fight against 23 million people defending their homes, their families, and their identity. The cost of such a conflict, measured in blood, treasure, and spirit, would be unimaginable. It would be a wound that might never heal. This is more than just words. It is a profound truth about the human spirit. And so we see the full picture. The reason an invasion is so unlikely is not one single thing. It is a powerful combination of factors. It is the porcelain fortress of the economy, the guardian mountains of its geography, and most importantly, the unbreakable will of its people. Each layer reinforces the others, creating a defense of incredible depth and resilience. The real story here is not about the threat of war. It's an inspiring lesson about the nature of true strength. It teaches us that we are strongest not when we are biggest, but when we are most connected, when we use our natural gifts, and when we hold on to our deepest beliefs. It teaches us that even when facing an overwhelming challenge, we have shields we may not even see. If this story resonated with you, I hope you'll take a moment to reflect on your own life. What are your invisible shields? What is your porcelain fortress, your guardian mountain, your unbreakable will? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to read them. And if you want more stories like this to help you practice your English and see the world in a new way, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Thank you for listening.